terrified about that. I mean, he was certain he couldn't do it. He was in horrendously bad health. His lungs were bad. He could hardly sing. I mean, everybody's going to say, well, what about 36 hours earlier when he did that show that looked impressive? Well, I'd like to see his blood chemistry for that show. I'm sure they had him on a bunch of uppers, And then he crashed. He absolutely crashed. And before that show, he passed out. And so he knew he wasn't up for these concerts. And again, the superstardom, he didn't want to disappoint his fans, and he was terrified. And so he was terrified of the future and devastated by the past. The 2 child molestation trials it ate him up, It really destroyed him.
All right, I'll tell you, let's go to the calls here because we're getting real close to the end. Let's start with Jim, line 1. Jim, good to have you on WZTK.
Yes, hey, the Jefferson Airplane was the group that brought me from listening to Tommy Roe and the Archies. Somebody told me recently that Grace Slick passed away. Is that true?
I sure didn't hear it.
No. Okay. I had her on the show as recently as maybe a year ago.
Yeah, I think
she's alive and well. Yeah, she's alive and well.
Was she the first bad girl of rock and roll?
She preceded Janis just slightly in terms of recognition. They were around at the same time, but certainly people knew more about Grace Slick than they did Janis, but just for a brief amount of time.
With the 2 minutes we have, and I appreciate the call, Jim, just 2 minutes, pace yourself. Talk about Janis Joplin, and we kind of neglected her on this. Go ahead.
Well, like the rest of them, but even more so, she was absolutely insatiable. They said of Janis, not only insatiable in terms of a drug habit, sexually, every other way. They said about her nerves were closer to the skin. When Janis was happy, she still wasn't happy. And she had this self-destructive thing going on, like most of them. She said, maybe my audiences can enjoy my music more if they think I'm destroying myself. There's a certain amount of romance to that, but, when you get down to the reality, and yeah, she was a serious junkie, and probably an even more serious alcoholic. And there's a misconception about ODs and heroin. Usually, you don't kill yourself, and not always with heroin, but you almost always do kill yourself when you mix booze with heroin. That's what takes you out, and that's what took her out. And it's funny, she could have died at Woodstock. She was doing major tequila plus shooting up. It could have happened right then. But yeah, she, like all the rest of them, she burned it at both ends, and that's the way she wanted to live, and she knew the price. And then you get down to the thing is, these people would prefer to live one day absolutely to the max than 80 years of a safe existence. That's the way they were built.
Oh, man, what a you really did dig up a lot of information. It's very interesting stuff. It's David Comfort, rock and roll historian, the Rock and Roll Book of the Dead, The Fatal Journeys of Rock's 7 Immortals, and the website rockandrollbookofthedead.com. David, it was very interesting. Good luck.
Pleasure, Alan.
We've got to have you back.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'd be delighted.
Good stuff. Interesting stuff. All right, when we come back, we kind of have a digital divide in this country. There's half the country probably who get and use Twitter, but even they probably aren't utilizing Twitter the way it should be. And Facebook, it's making money. That's what we're going to talk about when we get back. We have a social media expert, one of the best in the country. Don't go away.
Hollywood.